oil looking at? I think that's good. Hopefully that's good. Why didn't I hear? When it... All right. If you jump and knock down that camera, these cats. Okay, guys. Ladies and gentle thems, if you will. Welcome back to the Church of Midsummer and School for Spells of Magic. My name is Bishop Juju Blackman, if you are not familiar. And we're back with another class. The last class I filmed would have been the 200, a set of 200 level courses, 210, 215, and 220 on anointing candles. I have cat producers back here now. These guys are just actually like looking at the screen as I record this. Anyway, the last set of classes that I recorded would have been 210, 215, 220, anointing candles, building your altar and using your altar. But tonight what we're going to talk about is we're going to go back. We're going to go back to the 100 level, and this will be Hoodoo 110, and this is going to be prayer, meditation, and communicating with the ancestors. So it's quite all right if you have already sort of gotten into practicing based off of the information from my classes, and you know you are a bit of a novice at this and you're just getting into it. If you are not familiar with the things that I will introduce to you in this class tonight, that's completely fine. If you've already started based off the other videos, that's totally fine. For prayer, meditation, and communicating with the ancestors, you do not necessarily need to have an altar. You can practice without. If you knock that camera over, I'm gonna hit you with this. I'm gonna throw this at you. Don't touch it. Don't you touch it. I just strangled this cat. You leave it alone. You do not necessarily need this class to do works that I taught you. Simon. Simon, don't touch it. He's gonna knock this camera over and then I'm gonna strangle him. Why don't you come over here? Come here. Come. Yeah, then I suggest you cut it out. Don't knock that over. God. I'm not dealing with this today. So, again, you don't necessarily need, to know any of the information that I'm going to give you tonight. If you have already started practicing, if you've built your altar, it's actually good that you've done some more advanced things, or some things that weren't necessarily needed in the work, before we get to this stuff, which is going to be a lot of foundation things that are necessary for hoodoo, necessary for your prayer, necessary for your meditation and communicating with the ancestors. But it's good to sort of have this bit of experience, because as you continue to do your works, Kiki, as you continue to do your works, you sort of get this internal scale that will allow you to weigh out what your results feel like for these works. You will get to weigh out how long it takes for your results to materialize, and you sort of get the feel for how effective your work is. So backtracking is good, and that's definitely what we're gonna do tonight. Hello. Would you like to say hello? Hmm. Okay, I guess that's a no. All right. So I usually go to a shop which is down the street from here, down the street from Cat Sanctuary. And that shop is owned by some white people. I mean, this shop that I went to today is also owned by white people, but it is it's in a Greek district here in my city. And it's called Athenian Candle Company or something like that. And this place is it's more of a wholesale shop, and I've known that this place was here for years, but I just thought that it was a candle shop. But I learned today that this is just a wholesale for all types of sort of spiritual works. Definitely, I am in total belief that a lot of this stuff is all hoodoo and voodoo. I'm not sure of the background that Latino or even that Greece or that Greek folk practice when it comes to spirituality and magic and sort of occultism, other than their connections with Catholicism. But I think that a lot of the dream interpretation stuff and tarot, and a lot of these candles, this is a John the Conqueror candle, a lot of the candles that they make, money blessings, baths, and things of that nature, I believe that all of this stuff is coming from hoodoo. So it was just a very strange shop. It's marketed as a Greek or Athenian shop. Again, I don't know the background for what type of occult and like spiritualism like Grecian people are practicing, but I guess if it's based off this store, they are pretty heavy in this. I mean, I was able to get a new rosary, and I got this from the white-owned store down the street, but I had to go across the town to go to this Athenian candle shop, and they have way more options for candles than what this white shop has. It's just wholesale candles, thousands and thousands of candles, and wholesale bath oils and bath and floor washes and just everything that you need to practice hoodoo. Again, I've never heard of people using a lot of these things outside of American Black folk magic. But I guess that's something else that I need to look into. So what you see here, what we have here is, these are the materials from my last altar setup. And so from the Hoodoo 210, 215, and 220 classes, you saw that I set up the altar at this table, and these were some of the things that were placed on the altar. We have the lemons, which have dried up. There's root work in that. Maybe we can discuss that today. But we have the candles, which you see I did not burn all the way down, except for this one right here. This one did get burned all the way down. But these were the candles that I anointed with the olive oil and the sugar. And and the High John, the Conqueror candle that I actually used from a couple of cycles ago. So this wasn't necessarily in the last waxing cycle. I actually had been using this candle in the waxing moon cycle before the last one, and continued to use it in the last one. So I have all of this here today because I don't know why they're so like enthralled with the camera today. They're never this interested in the camera. Simon, if you knock that camera down, we're gonna fight. He's got that face like, I ain't listening to you. He got that I ain't listening face. He got that I'm hearing the words that are coming out of my mouth, but I'm really not listening. All right. I'm worried because Simon, if you jump at that camera and you break my phone, we got issues, kid. Hey. So I brought the old stuff here because the disposing of this, and also we need to just talk about what's going on here that has a lot to do with the work, with the prayer and the meditation. The base of this class tonight, if you're taking notes, the crux of the prayer, meditation, and communicating with the ancestors, the crux of this is going to be prayer or living by the moon. So again, all of the materials that you see in this tray here, this is all from a waxing moon phase. So that was from the time that the moon was last new until the recent full moon. Between those two periods, the new moon and the full moon, I was lighting these candles every day, and doing prayer and meditation and communing with the ancestors for prosperity, for building, for blessings. So we were building up. But now that the full moon was a couple of days ago and we're now waning and we're moving into another new moon, I'm going to be moving into protection or unblocking, or sort of washing and getting rid of. So the idea is not prosperity or building upon blessings, but it is decrease now. But we still need to do something with what we have here. Now, this red and this yellow candle and this candle right here, I can save these, put them up, and I can use them the next time the moon is waxing again. So that's what I'm going to do with those. But the things that I cannot use, I'm going to need to dispose of them properly. And the way that I do that is there's a number of different things that you can do with them. Since these were works that were for prosperity and for blessings, I would be comfortable with burying these near the apartment building. I would be comfortable with even putting these in recycling. I'm totally comfortable with that too, because then I know that they will be repurposed somewhere else. I'm even comfortable with leaving these, putting them in a bag, packing them up in a nice brown paper bag, and leaving them at a crossroad. Again, they will find themselves, it won't necessarily be me throwing them away. Someone else could possibly throw them away. Or they could just kind of sort of disperse and, be scattered around in that area as like pollen, a spiritual pollen, if you will. But what I will not do with it is I'm not going to directly myself throw these in the garbage. That's what I would never do. And the reason why I would never do that is because what you need to do with this sort of spiritual debris is you need to give it back to the earth. You need to give it back to the universe, especially if it is one that where you were asking for blessings, where you were building upon prosperity. You want to give it back to the earth. So this is definitely okay to bury this nearby. If you are a homeowner or you're renting where you're the only person on the lot, this is perfect for you to bury it in your front or your backyard, at your front or your back door. It is very important that if the magic and the root work and the spell work, the prayer and the meditation, if it was for decrease, and if it was if they were works and meditation for getting rid of negativity, for ridding yourself of things, those are things that we do not bury. You don't bury that near your home. You don't bury those things near your home. You can leave those at crossroads. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at leave it at a crossroad. Don't bury things that you've prayed over to rid yourself of negative things. Don't bury that near your home. You want to rid yourself of it, and so you're not gonna bury that on your property. Also, I have the flowers that came from that altar. So these are the flowers. They've dried up. As you can see, I got rid of the stems and the leaves. So it's literally just like, the buds of the roses and the various other carnations that were also included in those bouquets. Now, what I'm going to do with these is these can be used for spiritual baths. So now that we are in a waning moon phase and we're doing lots of cleansing, I'm going to be doing lots of baths and lots of cleansing, lots of floor washes and body washes as well. You can use these as sort of like a conditioner, because these are charged with these sort of positive and prosperous energies. So while these are out, the communion with the ancestors was one of blessings. So these are a bit oily now. So now we can use these in the bath. You can use them in a floor wash, however you want to use those. You can just use them as potpourri if you want. Just put them in a dish. They still smell great. Sit them out. Lemon. So as you can see, all the lemons have dried up. There are a couple of tricks you can do with lemons. You can cut a hole in a whole lemon and stick a prayer or a meditation or a blessing that you would like to receive in the lemon, and as it dries up, it will come to fruition. I didn't do that necessarily this time around, but I did just have them there just to have on the altar as a symbol, as an ancestral symbol. Again, I think I mentioned in those videos, in those 200 level videos, that these reminded me of the couple of the ancestors that I was communing with. And so even though lemons are like a cleansing thing, lemons are like a get rid of negativity thing. They're still fruit. So I put them on the table for prosperity anyway, just because I share a lot of stories with lemons with ancestors. So that's why those were there. Some other stuff that you might find in this tray are like, incense sticks, resin from incense. All of that needs to be gathered up and disposed of properly. You don't just want to chuck it. You don't just throw it in the garbage. It doesn't really have a great intention if you just throw it in the garbage. You need to give it back to the universe in some way, whether that be leaving it at a crossroad or burying it on your property. So let's get into what's in this bag. So basically, these are all black candles. Again, since we are in a waning moon phase, again, the foundation and the crux of this class is living by the moon. If I haven't made that clear yet, the way that you do that is during a waning moon phase or a waning moon cycle. As the light of the moon as the light of the moon is decreasing, we are also decreasing. We are also asking for decrease. We're also washing ourselves of unwanted things. Hold on. I don't know why I never put these cats up before I do these videos, but don't make me chase you. But they learn now that when I'm on the phone with clients or when I'm making videos, that it's a free-for-all and they can do whatever they want to do. So they just run around like freaking race cars. Ouch. All right, that's one. You're next. Okay. So yes, living by the moon. Yeah, if you haven't grasped it yet, the idea is as the moon is decreasing, as the light of the moon is decreasing, your intentions are also decreasing. And so during this time, you would not necessarily commune with the ancestors or pray or meditate on blessings. What you would pray and meditate on during a waning moon phase is you're meditating or you're praying for cleansing. You're meditating and you're praying to rid yourself of negativity, rid yourself of the things that you do not want. And then on the other side of that, when the moon is waxing, I always tell clients, I let everyone know, I let students know during a waxing moon phase, go wild. Ask for your wildest dreams. Ask for everything that you want. And if you do that, now I'm not gonna tell you like, no, it's not a genie in a bottle. It's not a crystal ball. It's not like some Harry Potter magic. That's not how it works. When you do these things, you will notice you will start to take better notice of your emotions. You will feel your emotions a lot stronger. You will question things a lot more. And again, as you do this more, it takes repetition. It takes experience doing this. As you do this more, you build up this sort of internal scale for what is working and what is not working. You build this internal scale for how quickly your prayers are being answered and to what degree. And so you backtrack and you do it again and you see what the results are, and you backtrack and do it again and you see what the results are, and you get into this sort of rhythm which is your own. So you can't necessarily base this off of anyone else's magic or anyone else's practice. You definitely can't base this off of anyone else's experience or their conversations with their ancestors, because you will not necessarily share the same ancestors. So this is really an experience that is your own, and you're going based off of the dreams and the goals and desires that you have personally. These are things that you've desired and things that you've wanted since you were a child. And really, as much as you try and explain that to somebody else, you will not be able to. Because the reason why you're doing this work is because you're trying to unlock it for yourself anyway. You don't even know. So the reason why you're doing this is so subconsciously, but you're doing it so that you begin to know consciously, so that you can bring this information that's hidden within you to the forefront. And why is it hidden subconsciously? The easy answer, the short answer to that is anti-blackness. It's always anti-blackness and racism, white supremacy. That's the easy answer. I guess the longer answer is, things like anti-blackness and racism and, this sort of idea of professionalism and you having to act a certain way as you become older. You have these expectations that are thrust upon you by society, and so the things that you desire as a child, your goals and your reasons why you were put on this earth in the first place, they sort of disappear into the back of your subconscious. And so you do this work to bring those goals back up again, to remind you why you're here, what your mission is, what it is that you truly desire and what you really want to do, so you can make the best of this life. All right, so again, lots of black candles. I have 4 small black candles. And I guess I can include a link to a color chart for candles. I mean, colors are pretty self-explanatory, but a color chart does always help. I used red and yellow and this sort of like peachy, like very creamy, very indulgent looking like brown sugar color also as I was doing those prosperity spells. And yellow is for joy and red is sort of for like fire and passion. Red is also a good grounding color. Red is also good for unblocking, but it also doubles as a prosperity color for prosperity work because there's that passion and love behind red. So they kind of go both ways. But of course, red and fire also purify. But black is for protection. So black is great for banishing of unwanted things. Black is good for protecting, and so I got a lot of black candles because during this this waning moon cycle, I plan to do a lot of uncrossing. Now, at the beginning of this new sort of season, this new sort of campaign and tour of magic that I've been doing, when I started Midsummer, I did a lot of grounding work and I did a lot of unblocking and uncrossing work. And it worked and it's still working. It's definitely been an experience. But again, I've got a bit of a wait for how things worked. And if I'm being honest and open, I had a lot of fun during that uncrossing work. I used red mostly for that, so it was a lot of grounding, which yeah, that was very effective. However, it was this time around the tone will be a lot more, not necessarily a lot more serious, but I do know exactly how I would like to point my intentions this time. And during the last one was actually pretty effective, but it was too colorful. It was very colorful, and so there was a bit of mixed energy from that last bit of work that I did for uncrossing. There was a lot of color in it, and so the work has shown itself to be very, very mixed. There was a lot of cleansing, but there was also a lot of blessing that happened and a lot of prosperity building that happened. I gained a lot of fire and passion. But with that said, a lot of uncrossing and unblocking work did happen, but I know that I can do more. I'm at the point where I'm like, I can feel like the rest of this, like the rest of whatever I want to get away, I can feel it sort of on this like my spiritual ground. And so I'm coming in to mop it up, coming in and clean it up. So black candles. I have these 4 black candles. I'm going to divide these up over the waning phase. So I'll use 2. I'm going to start using 2 tonight. And by the middle of this waning phase, I will probably light these other 2 as well. And then I have this huge candle, which is probably going to last me the whole cycle. Another red candle. Look, don't judge me. This is another red candle, but this is probably going to be the only red candle that I light. And the reason why I got this red candle, it is even like a deeper shade of red. It's, if not the color is different, definitely the motifs that are printed on like the votive glass. It's protection from enemies, and not necessarily that I like have people after me, but I do sort of have like this idea in my head, or I do still have feelings and emotions that make me believe that I may have some enemies. And it's not necessarily that I need to get rid of enemies or that I need protection for enemies, but this is largely going to be used for my intentions alone. Just for my like mental well-being. Like this will give me ease that I don't need to worry about enemies. I mean, that's come up in a lot of readings for me, that I do need to stop worrying about enemies. And so this is just sort of just like a step further, sort of a visual, symbolic, sort of symbol that I'm associating with really getting rid of these anxieties around needing protection from enemies. So that's why we have that one. And then this one, she wrapped the hell out of these candles. Great work. This is really good. They had like an entire like warehouse behind the scenes, which I try to like act like I wasn't paying attention to it, but I noticed there was like a huge, and then like the next room, there was like this huge warehouse where you could just like see people, a lot of sort of like work being done in there. I think they were making candles in that room. But I can't wait to go back to that place because I just want to spend more time there, even though I spent a lot of time there today because I was just so in awe. But there are some things that I saw that I definitely want. Again, I need to get back there ASAP. Okay, so this candle I'm so excited about this candle. I am not going to light this candle starting in this moon phase. This is going to be when we return back to a waxing moon phase. This is a Holy Spirit candle. So this is definitely for blessings and gifts. The Holy Spirit is sort of God's spirit that ushers in gifts for people and sort of restores the balance between heaven and earth. And so when things are going just dazzling and there's just a lot of vegetation, a lot of growth physically and emotionally, you know that the Holy Spirit is around. And it's just a fucking cute ass candle. It's blue and it's got glitter. It's my favorite color and it's glitter. It doesn't get any more of like favorite for me. And it's a Holy Spirit candle, so I'm excited to use that. But this is not for banishing. This is for blessings and prosperity. So what's it doing here? Oh, this is the rosary. Okay. I was like, okay, this is the most important one. So this is sort of going to be like the center of the work. This is and there are so many different types of votive candles. Basically, if you make candles, the person making it decides the intention. Again, I say this all the time. Magic is practical as hell. Like, Nothing else gets more practical than magic. Magic is creativity, like spirituality and prayer and meditation and communing with your ancestors. It is about creativity. It's art. So you can do whatever the hell you want. Like, do what you want. That is the only way that it works best, is if you believe in it and you do what it is that you want and you do it with your chest. And so when you make candles, you get to decide like what the candle is about. And a lot of it has to do with the motif that is printed on it. We're also going to do some carving and motifs on some of these candles. We're gonna actually do some carving and write some words on these candles. But for votive candles that are in glass, the motifs and the intentions are kind of always printed on the candle. So this has been named a blockbuster candle. Eliminates negative conditions. For best results, read the 23rd Psalms, meditate on your desk. This is from Discount Candles, Detroit, Michigan. So shout out to Detroit, Michigan. It seems like Detroit and Atlanta have some really great like hoodoo backgrounds or occult backgrounds, because they're making some really great candles. So this being a blockbuster, it says that, I guess these are the things that you're going to get: money, success, fast luck, love, finance, lottery. But the main thing here to take note of is that this candle is black. So it's for banishing things, so we know these things that are promised here on the candle, they're coming because of the banishing, because the main crux of this candle work is banishing of negative spirits, banishing of unwanted sort of emotions and spirits that are going to unblock the roads, open the roads, so that you can receive these things that are printed here below. I really love this candle. I like the way it looks. I love this like lightning here. Just very cool. A very sort of modern take on a votive candle, you know, in contrast to John the Conqueror candle, which is just has this very like Catholicism like sort of motif on it, compared to this one, which is, you know, just very modern, sort of just like this candle company, you know, new modern company, spiritual business, like new age spiritual business sort of feel here. So I'm excited to light this candle. And I don't even know what this is. Oh, this is the this is highest quality uncrossing. I think highest quality is the name of the brand here. Again, this place was like wholesale for stuff like this, and so I think I'm guessing the brand is highest quality. Let me see, Church Goods Co. But a lot of the products were labeled highest quality, you know, whatever. So this is highest quality uncrossing. And one thing that this shop made me realize is that like ancient is not the word. Ancient is not the word, but what this shop made me realize is like, although people have been practicing hoodoo for a while, but it's obviously it has not been as popular as it is getting now. It has not had the same sort of feeling that it has now, where just like a lot of young Black people, a lot of millennials especially, are getting back into hoodoo. And so what this shop made me realize is that, you know, there are other cultures who have just been really going hard at this stuff, is the feel that you get. Which is a bit unfortunate, because like I said, all of this stuff is coming from hoodoo. And you know, we sort of, it's sort of, you know, you see all of the TV shows, and they basically say that, you know, if you're Black and you're practicing these things, basically if the TV told it, the reality would be that the only way that you're practicing these things if you're Black is if you also have some sort of Hispanic background or something like that. And I mean, the reason why that would be true is just because of the demonization that happened with hoodoo, and why a lot of people just don't practice hoodoo right now, and why this sort of revival is happening. So that was just a realization that I had, is just like, there are definitely some established like places who are making a lot of money off of this stuff. Church Goods Co. being one of them. It's not necessarily to say that these things won't work. It's just like my Florida water by Murray and Landman's, however you pronounce this white man's name. This is a company that's been making this for decades, but of course, it kind of have sort of just regained popularity within young Black people, because it started to come back up in the media again. A lot of Black people have gone and bought this again because Solange wore it to a Met Gala red carpet. So, you know, these things are here. They've been here. And again, it's just an observation. It's just kind of sad that these things have been here. But a lot of Black people, definitely not a lot of Black people that I've grown up, have been practicing or using this stuff. But we're getting back to it. But I trust it. I trust a lot of this stuff. You can also make a lot of this stuff yourself. The recipes are online. If you don't have someone in your family to explain to you how to make this stuff, but it also is just as effective if you get it from the store, if you get it already made. This is basic stuff. I want to smell this. I didn't even smell it. No, it doesn't smell like cleaner. It smells like cinnamon and ginger. So I'm very excited to use this. This is probably mostly dye, I would suspect. So I'll have to look up the ingredients to this, but this is for uncrossing. So I got this to go along with the entire theme of banishing and sort of getting rid of these last residual unwanted sort of feelings and energies that are around me. I'm due for some, I mean, the blessings have been coming in. I've always been due for a lot of changes have been happening in my life. Midsummer being one of them. 3 years ago, you couldn't have told me that I would be doing this. So there you have it. 2 years ago, you couldn't have told me that this would be the situation. And so that right there is a gift in itself. And so in order to really unlock some things that are due, they've been slated to happen this year, this month especially. It's I don't know, not coincidental. I don't know, it just made me laugh because I've been told these things and I've read these things. I have divined these things, but actually going to the store, which actually walking into the store was a blessing in itself. And making these purchases, I was able to see the things that are about to come. These things weren't even available at the magic shop down the street. So when I saw this, the reason why I got this and didn't even read it, because I saw it and I was like, I know exactly what the fuck that is. I've been meaning to make this on my own, but I just haven't had the time or the resource. Personally, I would rather just buy it, and boom, there it is. Again, it's a wholesale place, so it's really like, imagine an art store for magic. That's exactly what it is, an art store for magic, where you can get any color candle, just like you would be able to get any color paint. You can get any color bath wash, floor wash, like you would be able to get any color paint. You can get any oil, any color of oil, any type of oil, the same that you would be able to purchase any type of magic supplies. And that's exactly what I did today. I'm so excited about this. The Holy Spirit candle. Holy Spirit rained down on me. I also I broke my rosary, and so I got a new rosary. It's very pretty. I do a lot of rosary prayer, so I'm excited to use this for the first time. I'm gonna bless it tonight. And in addition to the Uncrossing bath wash and floor wash, we also have an Uncrossing oil. This is extra strong Uncrossing. Directions for blessed oil: use 3 capfuls daily on body and bath. Pray to achieve desired results. Psalm 23. I've been praying Psalm 23. I prayed Psalm 23 when I did a lot of the initial uncrossing work for this spiritual season of mine. This doesn't look like oil. It smells great. All this stuff smells really great. I didn't even buy cologne anymore. I just douse myself in Florida water and oils. And of course, incense. And of course, the incense are also theme appropriate. I don't know exactly what is in these incense, but they're marketed as divine healing. I mean, see, I'm a person who doesn't read. And I just take businesses and brands at their word based on the marketing. But, you know, again, I tell y'all, you know, it's really not on you. It's really not your fault if you purchase something, especially if you purchase it from white people and it's marketed one way, but you know, it happens to be something else. That's not on you. As long as your intention was the intention that was marketed, your magic will tell you if it works or not. Great example of that, if you don't believe me, this magic shop that I've been going to down the street. I've known for a long time that white people own this, and so I just know a lot of it is just like appropriated things, but I used it because it's what I had available, and it had been working for me until I found this new shop. And so obviously now that I have this new shop, I probably won't make as many trips to the magic shop down the street because they just obviously just don't have the range that this new shop has. And that's what I mean. That's what I've been talking about. So, I mean, they're not really doing anything wrong besides being white and just like misappropriating hoodoo shit. But you know, when you find something better like this, you go with the more detailed and with the more fleshed out route. And for me, that would be this place. Again, it's wholesale, and so you know, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that I paid way more money for this candle than I needed to, and I know I did, because honestly, if I had lived in a Hispanic neighborhood, this votive candle, you can get this at the dollar store for $1, but I'm pretty sure that this magic shop down the street is selling these for like $13. That's what I'm talking about. Like, obviously, like, it's still gonna work, the intention is still gonna work, but you know the ways that it should be working. So obviously I'm gonna be going to this wholesale shop a lot more because I can get candles for 25 cents as opposed to getting the same damn candle down the street for $10. Like, come on. Appropriators, colonizers, you know, settlers, gentrifiers. This is what I'm talking about. All right. Let me see him. So yeah, that's all I got. As you can see, the little scheme here is black and blue. The blues are mostly for the washes and the oils. And then a lot of the black is just the candles. I did not get flowers. I was debating if I was gonna get flowers to put on the altar. I don't think that I will. Doesn't really seem, you know, doesn't really seem like I need to. I mean, if you're doing cleansing and you're doing banishing work and protection work, I I don't see why you should not place flowers on your altar. Also, at the same time, don't stress yourself about this. Don't stress yourself out about feeding your ancestors. If that's something that you cannot do, if buying flowers every 2 weeks or every week is just something that you cannot do, don't stress yourself out about it. It's not something that you have to do. It does help the intention, the sacrifice does help, but if you just can't do it, or if it's stressing you, then don't do it. It's not necessary. Nobody's gonna be mad at you. I guarantee you that your ancestors, they want to do a lot of apologizing to you. If that's not something that you know already. I don't know if this is too blasphemous to say or whatever, but I'm saying anyway, this is my channel. God's not going to be mad at you because you didn't feed the ancestors right, or God's not going to be mad at you if you didn't pray on a certain strict schedule. The way that Hoodoo see it, and the perspective of Hoodoo on God is, God looked at black people and saw herself, all right? Like, we found God after a hard time. God wasn't always there. The connection was not always with God. White Christianity has a very misconstrued view of what God is, and it's not this all-seeing, evil, smiting white sky daddy. Unfortunately, that's just not the idea of God that makes any sense. Also, there was a lot of holy water in that shop. I didn't get any because I had my own little special batch. This is from the last snow, and I actually kept it from the last snow in this little holy water little holy water dish. And I just put this little lid over it so that it wouldn't evaporate. But this is snow. Snow that I let sit on the altar, and snow that I prayed over. And it fucking works. And the reason why a lot of it is still here is because it is very effective. It works very much so. And so I was like, all right, I'm not going to put any more of that on my forehead until it's time to do some banishing work. Because when I say it banishes, it banishes. And it really put me through some shit. I was like, okay, this isn't the time to use this. Oh, she gave me a coupon. Very nice. All right. So a lot of that information that I just gave you was really my personal experience, but the point is really if you didn't really process that all, go back, watch again, and just really listen to what I said, really listen to my experience, because there's a lot of information and a lot of data in there for you. And the main takeaway is that this is your art. This is your own thing. Even though it's meditation and it's prayer and it's communicating with the ancestors, which is sort of the key to unlocking this thing that you're trying to do, which is sort of the key to opening up these roads for you to get to where you're trying to go, wherever that may be. The possibilities are endless. The main thing that you need to keep in mind is that this is your art. And it works most effectively when you believe in it. No matter how messy it is, you may think to yourself every day, every waking minute of the day that, you may be telling yourself that you're so silly for doing this, or that you're foolish for doing this, or that your aesthetic, or you don't like your aesthetic. As long as you keep that in mind, that is how your magic will respond. That is karma. As long as you have that attitude inside, that is the attitude that is going to exist around you. So the more that you actually not just simply believe in it, but the more that you look at your stuff, and the more that you build upon the idea that oh wow, this is really some hot shit. Oh, this is really nice. This is really cute. And the more that you actually believe it, despite what anyone else says about it, or even despite the circumstances, the more it's going to actually work for you, and shit will start to happen magically, and you'll be just oh, all right. And it's really not, quote unquote magic. what's happening is you are shifting and you're changing your perspective, and you're shifting and you're changing your odds. So that's the whole point of this. All right, so let's get into actually blessing these candles. Now, I showed you how to anoint and how to bless these candles for prosperity and for gifts, but now we're doing it for decrease. We're doing it for cleansing and banishing. So instead of oiling the candle and covering it in sugar, we are going to subtract from the candle and cover it in oil. And so the way that we subtract from the candle is we're going to carve into it. So what I have here is a hex driver. This is basically like, wow, I just realized hex. Okay, so hex is hex. I guess this is really called like a hex driver, or like, you know, this is it's called a hex driver because it has 6 sides. The bullet has 6 sides that go into the actual drill. So it's like this is like a drill bit for a drill, and this piece right here has 6 sides. I wonder what the connections are there. I wonder see, I don't do my homework. But obviously there's connections here between these 6 sides, it being called a hex. And also we're about to use this so that we are releasing any hex in our lives. So this is iron or steel. It doesn't matter if it is iron or steel, but you want it to be one of those two to actually use it to carve. We're going to identify whatever it is that we want to get rid of in this candle. And the way that we're going to identify it is we're going to write it backwards in this candle using the steel or iron hex drill bit. I don't even know what I want to call what I'm trying to get rid of, because I don't necessarily, again, I don't have, even if I did have any enemies, I mean, I can't even think of a situation. I mean, I've been pissed at some people over the last few months. Some people have definitely annoyed me, but one of the things that I've gained is not giving a fuck. So one of the things that I have gained is just like not really being affected by people who in the past I would have made me upset. I don't think that I have anyone who's actually trying to do any work or any sort of thing against me right now. So I don't have anyone like individually that I would call out or write their name on this candle. And that's a very strong intention. So you want to think 80 times before you write somebody's name on a candle using a iron or a steel hex drill bit in a black candle. You want to think about that really, really, really hard, because once you do it and once you anoint it and once you pray over it and meditate it, there is no turning back. It's basically going to take its course, whatever that looks like, and it's gonna take its course very strong. And right now, I just don't have anybody who I'm trying to fuck up like that. I mean, other than just like the entire, like, whatever the fuck is going on right now with like this government and like the pandemic. Other than that, wanting to see that crumble, there's no one individually who I have that I'm just like, I need to get rid of. Again, that is, if you do that, you have to really think about that. You have to think about, you know, that's actual harm. There's a lot of harm involved in magic. That's why I always tell clients, I don't really do a lot of love spells, because all the magic that I do is consensual. I don't really do spells for like, oh, make this person fall in love with me or make this person come to me. Like, no, I don't do non-consensual magic. Sorry. Unfortunately not. That shit is very serious and it works. And we're just not sort of directing these energies at people that, you know, we want things to happen to them, probably for very petty reasons. So again, there's nobody in my life. So I'm just going to do something general. Let's just do Yeah. Just do negativity. And so again, we're using the hex drill bit, and yes, you are writing it backwards. Don't really get caught on if you make a mistake, but you do want to write this in this candle with some intention. You do want to kind of dig it deep in there. Don't dig it so deep that you break the damn thing. I mean, this is a pretty thick candle, but if you're doing a smaller candle, you can break it in half. If you break the candle in half, you need to pray over it before you actually use it. You need to make sure that you don't have any sort of you don't feel any certain way about having that candle break on you, because if you go into that work with this sort of fear that you broke it, that is the result that you will get. And so we're using this much thicker candle, and it's okay if I scribble, if I accidentally make a mark that I necessarily didn't want to make. It's all about my actual intention. And practice writing backwards before you do this if it's something that you're worried about. Again, the magic is practical. It's all about your faith in it. It's all about you doing it with your chest. And I'm confident in this sort of work by now, to where I know what I'm writing. I know what the fuck the intention is. I'm doing it. So I'm just writing negativity backwards in this candle. But yeah, that is a really good example of how my work has worked in my life. You know, obviously I still get angry. Obviously, I'm not saying that I'm perfect now. A lot of shit still annoys me, definitely. But the things that really set me off a few months ago don't set me off now. People who really used to set me off don't set me off now. And that is a blessing. And I really mean that. Like, I really mean that with my chest. Like, and that's like a great feeling just to like have that. I'm on the G. How do you spell negativity? I love this. I really like this. Now, last time I actually used a bit that was like one of the huger ones, one of the bigger ones, and I don't really think using the bigger one like actually made like those intentions bigger, or like the effect or the result bigger. Like I said, you build this internal skill. I definitely have this this internal scale inside of me, letting me know, you know, what I was doing back then, what really means something and what doesn't mean something, and the size of the drill bit that I was using right now. No, I mean, I'm still going to use a steel one. They still have the same effect, but I can use a small one. I know using the small one now and doing this work now is going to be much more effective than the work that I did initially, even though I'm using a smaller one. My intentions are more pure. They're more direct. I have more experience with what I'm doing now. I know what I'm doing now. And you just continue to build upon that throughout your whole sort of hoodoo career. Now, if y'all are wondering, we have been doing all Hoodoo classes. I'm going to get into now. Me personally, I'm a high priestess. I've given myself bishop because I reside over the Church of Midsummer and School for Spells and Magic. So I'm high priestess and bishop in that regard. However, I am not, I don't know if y'all know this, but I do not identify as a healer. A lot of black folk who are just, getting into this over the last decade, millennials like myself, my age bracket, who are getting into this, a lot of them are identifying as healers. I actually have not even seen a lot of older people who have been practicing. The people that I've met in Hoodoo who have been practicing for decades, people in their 50s and 60s, a lot of them don't even identify as healers. But no, I am not a Hoodoo healer per se. What I have found out that my calling is demonology. So my specialty in my study is studying demonology and sort of reclaiming the word demonology and demon to its true meaning, more authentic meanings, as opposed to like this devilish meaning that is associated with it today. So my work is explaining what demons are. My focus is familiars in that way, familiars, and spirits and goblins and demons and sort of emotions and shadow work. Calling yourself a healer is that is a pretty big title to take on, to call yourself a healer. It takes a lot of love and compassion to be a healer, and for spirits to invite themselves to you, not only spirits but other people to invite themselves to you for healing. It takes a lot of love and compassion, and to be honest, my trauma and my experience, I don't have that love for people like that. I'm just being honest. I don't have that love and compassion for people. And so no, I'm not a healer. That's never really been my calling, healing. But I believe, well, I know that I do exactly what, a lot of people who call themselves healers, I do exactly what they do, but I have sort of a different perspective on it, and that is sort of helping people understand their demons more, helping people understand their emotions, and guiding people through darkness, and guiding people through shadow work. Negativity. See, I don't really know how to spell negativity. Negative. So I am a demonologist. If we're gonna say that I do any healing work, the healing would be through demonology and sort of returning back this more authentic meaning of demons and demonology to the Hoodoo and Black community. And see, I can already tell that I was very generous with these letters. In the first half of the word, I may be coming up, maybe missing some space. And so you can't let something like that move your intentions. I'm gonna have to pray over that, because I am feeling some way about the prospect of not fitting this word on here like I wanted to. So I'll have to anoint the intention there. Y'all, now that I'm down here to the V, I really don't know if I'm spelling this right, so I'm gonna have to check. I'm gonna have to check that. But again, my intentions are pure. I'm very okay with this. I'm very okay with the work that I'm about to do. Now, what I will say is the reality of the work that I'm about to do is settling in now that I began writing, now that I've gotten to the word. And you know, I'm feeling some way about reading negativity. I'm getting into it now. It's in that sense, I'm getting into it. And so I'm being relaxed with it. I'm coming to terms with it. I'm coming to terms with what I'm doing. This is how the magic works. This is how hoodoo works. When you open up yourself to these sort of ideas, when you do something that is sort of as depressive as sitting here and carving negativity in a black candle, you know, you really start to feel that. And so you take that and you run with it. This is the magic. This is the data that you're picking up. You take that, you pick it up, and you use it for what it needs to be used for. I just made it. I'm not upset with this. I'm not upset with this. It could be a lot cuter, but I'm not upset with this. I do need to check this camera. That's what I am going to be upset with. That's the next blessing is new equipment. Let me check this camera. So I just got a Y left. I'm going to check my camera. We're still going. Might not have too much longer with it. Excuse me. So, since I do know that probably don't have a lot more time left, and I might have to just upload and start a new video. But the next part of this video would be sort of the order of operations for how to do this, which I got into a little bit in Hoodoo 220 using the altar. But this is more detailed now that we have some visuals here. Negativity, yes, awesome. So now that we have some visuals here, we have these candles here. We've got some visuals going. Let's talk about the order of operations for how you do this. So you saw me set up the altar last time. You saw me set up the altar for the waxing moon phase. And basically, my personal regimen, my personal procedure, excuse me, I ate before this video. I've got a lot of, I guess it's gas. A lot of burping going on. Me personally, the procedure that I go through, and it's really just not a personal thing for me. This is how everyone should be doing it. But you want to pray before you commune with the ancestors. You want to ground yourself, not only when you pray and you meditate. It would be prayer, meditation, communication with the ancestors. So pray first. Meditation, meditate next. Commune with the ancestors last. So what prayer looks like is set up your altar, light your candles. When you pray, you're praying to your higher being, whatever that may be, whether that's God, or if you like to pray to a deity, or whether you like to pray to a patron saint of Hoodoo or of Christianity. You're going to pray to your saint that they not only ground you in the work that you're about to do, but that they open up the spirit world. So after you get done praying and you open up the spirit world and you ground yourself, whatever that may be, please look up and research some more detailed prayers. Please message me if you want me to sort of put together some detailed work or prayers for you. You can watch some videos from one of my personal favorite YouTube channels, which is Bible Project. It's run by white people, but I think they do a really great job of explaining the Bible. And you can get a lot of sort of writing and this sort of rubric for whatever you want to pray. There's a lot of buzzwords there that you can use for your prayer. I prayed with someone recently who just has a spirit for praying. Me personally, teaching is more my thing. I mean, I like my prayer. I like my sense of prayer, but this person, the prayer was, I don't know if it was a prayer that they had practiced, but it was just very fiery. It was very passionate. It was very stern, and like she said that shit with her chest, and she meant it. The way that I pray is definitely has encouraged me to write down some prayers so that I can relay a prayer more stern and with more passion and fire like she did. But most of all, a lot of what I do is straight off the dome, straight off the chest, straight off of what I'm feeling, and that can be shaky sometimes. But she definitely put into me and gave me this idea of like these fiery, strong, very passionate. Even just gave me the idea that I do eventually want to be someone who is very firm in the prayer that I'm delivering, even if it's off the dome. She just delivered it so well, and it was so fiery and so passionate. And I think that is something that is definitely missing from not just not the Hoodoo community, but the Black community. I mean, not necessarily the Black community. Black church definitely has some fiery prayers, some fiery buzzwords, some very fiery praise and worship. But I think where it's lacking is sort of, again, in this millennial age group, people in my age bracket who are practicing Hoodoo. We could definitely use some of that that Holy Ghost spirit, Holy Ghost passion, that old school, really firm, really stern, Lord, send a revival. Like, it is so necessary. It's so needed. We need that. We need that for ourselves. And I think a lot of that kind of lives within the church right now. And it's unfortunate because as it lives in the church, it's sort of, it's the intention is pointed toward patriotism, financial gain, Black excellency, rather than the safety of trans people, impoverished people, just sort of an overall healing and understanding and empathy for divested people and my age group, and the age group of the generation that's coming up after me. We definitely need to take some of that passion that they got going on in there. So again, prayer, pray that the spirit is open. Pray that you ground yourself. Then the next level, go ahead and ground yourself even more with some quiet time, with some real meditation. Sort of this idea and this concept of being a tree, and knowing that this meditation and this prayer is based in you just simply growing, not worrying about anything around you, not worrying about anything in the past, not worrying about anything in the present or the future, just sort of being here now, being silent and being okay with the silence, being okay with your situation, being in the now, being a tree, meditating on that calmness and that peacefulness, and really try to gather that aura into this ball and center it in your life and center it around the magic and the work that you're doing and the prayer and the meditation and the communication with the ancestors that you're doing. If you need help with meditations, of course, there's always healing with Hoodoo, which is very effective. If you sort of don't have this basis, if you're a novice and you're really looking for this sort of understanding of what I'm talking about when I mean be a tree and how to ground yourself and put yourself in the mindset for meditation and grounding, definitely check out Healing with Hoodoo. And not even just Healing with Hoodoo, you can check out really be mindful of what you're watching and what you're listening to, and talk with other people. Don't just talk with me, talk with other people in Hoodoo, talk with other people, other millennials, other Hoodoo practitioners, no matter what their age, and really get a wide range of opinions of what it means to not only just pray passionately, but also find this sense of calm in your meditation, and what it means to meditate, how to get there, what it means to clean the chakras. And then after you've done that, then you go ahead and take yourself, visualize yourself in a garden with your ancestors. Visualize yourself talking with your ancestors. Visualize yourself talking with deities. Visualize yourself talking with patron saints. Visualize yourself talking with icons or celebrities who have transitioned. I have a friend who is a poet, and a lot of the people that she prays and communes with in the ancestral realm is Toni Morrison and oh God, what's our other favorite writer? I'll leave it at Toni Morrison. She has a great connection with Toni Morrison and Toni Morrison's work, so she does a lot of prayer and communication with Toni Morrison. But that is what I mean by connect with the ancestors. Really visualize and believe in the visualization. If you don't believe in this, if you think you're doing it all for nothing, if you do all of this and at the end of the day, or when you're done with it, you say, oh, I don't know why I did that, it just feels silly, those are the results that you're going to get. You're going to get silly results. So if you actually believe in it, if you actually believe in the feelings, the sights, the smells, the sounds, and again, the feelings that are associated with these people that you are praying with, they will come into your life and they will begin to help you. Prayer, meditation, ground yourself in the prayer and in the meditation, and then commune with your ancestors. And you do all of that through your altar setup. You do all of that through the various components that are on your altar. So again, that's what I'll be doing with these new candles that I've bought, with these flowers that came from my previous setup. Will I take a bath tonight? I don't know if I'll do a spiritual bath tonight, but the spiritual bath will happen soon, and they'll happen with these. A big part of my magic, a big part of my work is just, or a big part of my prayer is doing a complete rosary. Sometimes I get in the habit of doing a complete rosary, the entire thing every night. Sometimes I fall out of it and I don't do it. It's okay. It's fine. The rosary is a huge bit of prayer for me. Again, I have my holy water. What I do with the holy water is I just have it sitting on the altar. And if I walk past, or whenever I think about it, or if I just really need it, I just dip my hand in there, do a cross on my forehead, sign of the cross. It's all about the intention. Why did I do that? Why would I put that on my head? Well, I have to think about that. I have to think about the intention when I'm doing that. As I'm putting that on my head, I go through those emotions. I go through the process of those emotions and those intentions. Like, wow, why did I do that? How has it worked for me in the past? How do I think that it'll work for me in the future? What do I hope to gain from it? I study the visualizations that are going through my head, the sounds that I hear, the smells that I hear from memories that are brought up, the taste. And I question and I ask myself, what do these things mean to me, and how are they affecting me emotionally and mentally? And that is the way that something like holy water would work. Yeah. So I've got my olive oil here. I'm not gonna anoint candles with y'all on camera because I've already done that with you. And the Hoodoo 210 anointing candles. Watch that if you haven't. I think that's everything. Let's see. Do I want to tell y'all anything else? I feel like, I guess I can tell you about book club, Midsummer book club, Church of Midsummer book club. You don't need to sign up on Patreon. You don't need to pledge $1 or $5 on Patreon to participate in the book club, although that is where the information, as well as a lot of the other updates for Midsummer happen. They happen on my Patreon. So I'll put the link to Patreon in the description of this video. Yeah, if Midsummer Book Club is something that you're interested in, we are reading Black Magic. What was that by? I cannot think of the name of the author off the top of my head, but for the first book that we're reading Black Magic. If you need a copy of that, direct message me. We are meeting on Discord on Sunday for brunch to discuss the first 2 chapters of Black Magic. So if that's something that you want to do, then please involve yourself and do it with us. If you're questioning what that actually means, I don't think I'll get into that. If you're just wondering why we would do that, message me, and we could talk about why Midsummer now has a book club and what that does for a community. But we do. So if that's something that you want to be involved in, message me, I can tell you more, or visit my Patreon again, which I'll leave a link in the description of this video too, and you can figure out if that's something that you want to do. But I think that's everything that I have for you guys. So I want to thank you once again for tuning in. I really hope that y'all are enjoying these classes. I know the handful of you who are, because we are talking about this stuff every other day. So thank you so much for really being a foundation to this, like, whatever this is, to this organization. Thank you so much for being a part of what I'm building here. And thank you for all the other viewers who don't necessarily reach out to me, but watch religiously anyway and are actually enjoying the content. I thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you. And quite honestly, I really love all of you. So thank you again. And I will see you guys next class.